Hello, read it here. Today we're going to read a story from /Am I the Asshole? Now, for our first story, am I the asshole for ruining my family's New Year's Eve by refusing to join the fun because I didn't want to be the designated driver again? Hey Reddit, I26F, need some serious perspective. I'm starting to think I might be the asshole, but I still feel like I'm in the right LOL. Every New Year's Eve, my family has a big party at my aunt and uncle's house, and every year, without fail, I end up being the designated driver. Don't get me wrong, I love my family, but it's starting to bug me. It's been like this since I was 19, even before I was legally allowed to drink. I don't drink much, maybe a glass of wine or a beer, but I don't get plastered. I'm fine with driving people home if they need it, but for the past few years, everyone expects me to not drink so I can drive them back. Every year, it's the same. Oh, can you drive? You're not drinking anyway. I always say yes, because I don't want to let anyone down. Fast forward to this year's New Year's Eve. I told my family ahead of time I wasn't going to be the designated driver anymore. I just wanted to enjoy the night, have a couple of drinks, and not be responsible for getting everyone home. I even told my cousin who usually gets really sloshed that I wasn't driving this year, and she was fine with it. When I got to the party, it was the usual chaos. People were drinking, laughing, and having a good time. I was enjoying myself, but around 11, my cousin came over and asked if I was ready to drive everyone home. I reminded her I'm not driving tonight. I'm here to enjoy the party. She looked at me like I was crazy and said, "Come on, you always drive. Don't be a bitch." Which, like, WTF? I tried to explain calmly that I wasn't being a bitch, just that I wasn't going to be the chauffeur anymore. Then, my aunt overheard and pulled me aside. She lectured me, saying, "We all agreed last year you'd be driving. You know how much we rely on you. Everyone else is too tipsy, and Ubering is so unsafe. Just drive this one time for the family." I felt a ton of pressure, but refused. I told her I'm not their chauffeur and wasn't going to do it again just because no one else could figure out their own ride. My aunt got upset, saying I was being selfish and that we're family. She said I'm the only one who doesn't get too drunk, so it makes sense for me to help out. I told her I had already had 3 beers, so I wasn't even legally supposed to drive myself. That's when I snapped. I told them it's not my job to be their designated driver every year just because I'm the only one who doesn't get blackout drunk. They needed to figure out their own rides this time. Then I got up and left. I felt bad walking out, but I didn't want to be a doormat anymore. I spent the rest of New Year's Eve at home, watching Netflix and eating leftover pasta with my boyfriend. My family texted me, calling me dramatic, selfish, and saying I ruined the night. They said I was being super sensitive and that everyone was disappointed in me. Everyone's demanding an apology out of me even now. And by the way, I got home perfectly safe by Uber. But anyways, Reddit, am I the asshole? Let's hear from the comment section. Comment 1. Yeah, I grew up in a family like that. It's common, but not normal. Either start leaving every time the booze comes out, or if it's always there after a set amount of time that is before any drunk people want to start leaving. Stop drinking when with them, so they can't guilt you into handing over your keys till you're suddenly sober enough to drive people home. You shouldn't have to subject yourself to hanging out with drunk alcoholics. That is what they are, just to hang out with your family. It's so fucking mentally damaging to you at the end of the day. Comment 2. So it's tearing a hole in your family because you won't let them take advantage of you and abuse you when you refuse to do as you're told. Your family has conditioned you to take abuse, and the reason you feel bad is because you think this is normal. It's not. Standing up for yourself is the first step to learning how to make people respect your boundaries as a grown adult. Don't let your parents make you feel bad. They are treating you like a fucking child. You're a 26-year-old woman, not some little kid to be bossed around. Please seek some therapy to help you get out of this mindset that you should feel bad for standing up for yourself. Not the asshole. Comment 3. You are not tearing a hole between you and your family. Do you really believe that you can't pass up one party that can't be that much fun for you, given that everyone else is hammered? My daughter is not a big drinker and doesn't enjoy joining her friends when they're going to drink a lot. She just says no to that event, but enjoys her friends' company for all sorts of other events and has good relationships with them. Why can't you enjoy your family on average days and just let them do their drunk fest without you? I'm also wondering about other parties. It sounds like your family would be happy to get plastered for Mardi Gras, St. Patrick's Day, Cinco de Mayo, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Halloween, and more. What happens on those days? Please don't let them convince you that it's your job to tailor your life to their partying habits and wants/needs. And understand that it is their entitlement to your sober driving that is causing friction. You are happy to let them live their lives as they choose. They are not returning the favor. Comment 4. Don't feel embarrassed or guilty. Your family clearly have been taking advantage of you for some time, and it has to stop. As I said in my other post, maybe spend the next New Year Eve with friends instead. There's no law that says you must spend New Year Eve with your family. I'm lucky because for years I've just been able to do what I want around Christmas and New Year Eve. Years ago, when my best friend lived in the road behind me, I'd do Christmas stuff, presents, dinner, etc. with my family. Then in the evening, after I got home, me and 2 other friends would go around my best friend's place and hang out and drink until around midnight. It would be the same on my birthday a few days later, and again the following night for New Year Eve. I've only done New Year Eve with family about 3 or 4 times in the past 25 years. Now, for our second story. Am I the asshole for only getting a college graduation gift for my 28M son and not my daughter-in-law 28F? So I'm a 55F, and my son, who I raised as a single mother, recently graduated from grad school. His wife, my daughter-in-law, also graduated at the same time, and I gave a special gift of a bit of cash just to my son because I'm proud of him as his mother, and I feel a sense of pride since I raised him as a single mom. I figured my daughter-in-law had her own parents to gift to her. Well, my daughter-in-law texted me saying she was very hurt that I only acknowledged my son, her husband's grad, and not hers, as she thought she was a part of the family as my daughter-in-law, and they'd been together for a while. She said she didn't expect the same amount of money, of course, but just a card or something. She said she felt like I overlooked all her hard work and only saw my son's. However, I don't feel like I need to apologize or justify my choice in wanting to reward my son individually. I could be the asshole for overlooking my daughter-in-law's accomplishment and only acknowledging my son's. Let's hear from the comment section. Comment 1. You're the asshole. She's 100% right that it's more about the gesture and thought. A card would have sufficed. When my husband graduated, his parents bought him a car. When I finished graduate school, not at the same time as him and long before we were married, they got me a grocery store orchid. I was incredibly touched by them considering me. Your choice to reward your son individually with money is not what's in question here. It's your choice not to celebrate your daughter-in-law's accomplishment that is the issue. So the fact that you typed this sentence is telling. I don't feel like I need to apologize or justify my choice in wanting to reward my son individually. It makes it clear you don't even respect her enough to listen to her about what she's actually getting upset about. This is the equivalent of getting your son an elaborate gift for Christmas and nothing at all for your daughter-in-law, and then saying, I don't think I need to apologize or explain why I wanted to get my son a gift. She's asking you to apologize or explain why you completely ignored her accomplishment. Not to get defensive about your right to celebrate your son's accomplishment. No one is questioning you getting your son an individual gift. She's simply pointing out that it was thoughtless and a bit rude to do nothing to acknowledge her accomplishments too. You clearly saw graduation as something to honor and celebrate, and trying to justify it by saying you were a single mom and she has her own parents is problematic, especially if her parents have been welcoming to your son, which they potentially have. Neither of their graduations from graduate school are primarily about you. Both of them put in the hard work. Both of them are your family. Obviously, you might do more for a son than a daughter-in-law, but celebrating one and completely ignoring the accomplishments of the other is not great. And it's a little worrisome that you tried to imply the reason you want to honor your son's accomplishments more is because you see them as an extension of your own. It's giving main character energy. This is one of those situations where you're telling your daughter-in-law that you don't actually consider her family at all, which may seem small, but has some longer-term impacts if she and your son do stay married for many years. Even if you're purely as selfish as you came across here with this one post, there will probably come a point where she won't consider you to be family either after smaller incidents like this happen repeatedly, and if they have children or you ever need elder care, expect to lose out. Comment 2. This. And there's a poster summed it up perfectly. This is your son's wife. She achieved the same goal as he did, at the same time he did, and you can't even say congratulations, I'm so proud of you? It would have been fine to give her a card, or, as I might have done, a small gift. But this nothingness is hurtful. You're the asshole. Do better, mate. Comment 3. I work as a therapist, had literally someone broke down, crying in session in a similar situation. They both decided to get CPA certified together, and the husband's family got him gifts but didn't for his wife. People's action matter, and no, she wasn't sad about the gifts. She just felt she wasn't part of the family and is being invisible. It was heartbreaking to watch her try to hold back tears. People are a spectrum. Some people might not care that much and move on, while others might end up crying and being so hurt cause they're sensitive and take this stuff as signs of rejection. Wish people were more thoughtful of how their actions or lack of action might be perceived by those closest to them. That would make the world a less stressed, better place in my view. Op is TA, even a small card would have sufficed, as he said. Op, hopefully you apologizes and get her a gift too. She also graduated and should be family to you. Comment 4. I have always felt that the best thing I can do for my son is to find something to love about the woman he loves. I love that she stands up for him when he is prone to let people push him around. That's the thing I zoned in on, and it has been enough to keep my less kind opinions to myself. It doesn't take that much effort to buy a card or send a random text or say a kind word, and everyone has days when some small thing is exactly what they need. To not acknowledge her achievement because she has a family of her own ignores the fact that this is about how you treat your son's wife, not how her family treats her. How hurt my son would be by the slight to his wife, and how disappointed. For his sake, if nothing else, do better. Now, for our third story. Am I the asshole for refusing to call an Uber for my roommate after she got stranded at work? My 32F roommate, 28F, got stranded at work today. My husband, 33M, was still at work for another 45 minutes. I asked her could she wait, and she said they wouldn't let her wait inside, which doesn't sound right for a popular fast food chain. So, she asked me to send her an Uber, which would have cost $23. I told her she could wait for a ride because I know there was no way I'm getting that money back on her first check. She already owes back rent for being here for a month and contributing nothing. She called me heartless, then told me not to worry because she sees what kind of friend I am. She said it was freezing outside and she could die of hypothermia. We live in the South and it was 43 degrees Fahrenheit. Later, she called me right before my husband was going to come get her and said someone was nice and is giving me a lift home, so save your precious gas. I shrugged it off, but she's not talking to me. So, am I the asshole? Let's hear from the comment section. Comment 1. From what I'm hearing, I would vote not the asshole just because it's not your responsibility to make sure she's where she needs to be. It seems like she's a capable adult, so she should have planned ahead and had some extra money with her to get herself an Uber. I do wonder why she didn't just order an Uber herself. It just seems like she wants you to pay for it instead of her, and she could if she really wanted to. Comment 2. People that don't have any money shouldn't have any issues waiting 45 minutes for a free fucking ride instead of mooching off of roommates for convenience's sake, right? No wonder she has no money if she's willing to borrow $20 bucks off of roommates for things as menial as unneeded Ubers. I don't want to hear sob stories about the business not letting her inside. Even if we fantasize for a second that this fast food restaurant isn't walking distance to a single other business, gas station, store, etc., then she can pay $2 for a drink and wait inside. In the same way, I pay $2 for a 45-minute metro ride to get home every day instead of paying $15 for a 10 minutes Uber every commute. Comment 3. Not the asshole. My first thought is, why doesn't she get her own Uber? But if it's a new job and no prior income / was already borrowing money, well, that point's answered. But it's weird that she's not allowed to wait inside at work while waiting for a ride. That would beg the question, why isn't she allowed to wait inside? Did she do something that got her kicked out of the building? At which point she might not have the job anymore anyways? Or is she just stubborn and refusing to walk back inside because I'm already outside, going back inside would look weird? At which point she's just being a stubborn brat and needs to realize nobody cares about her social appearance that much. Comment 4. Not the asshole. She is a grown-ass woman acting like it is someone else's responsibility to care for her, as if she is owed something the second she asks for it. She had the option of a ride and chose to be impatient. I get it's cold, but that's what happens when you don't have a car. And I live in the South too. She can deal. Also, She's probably saying she can't sit in the fast food chain so that you feel some sense of urgency to get her that Uber and get her way. I don't think that's true either. Now, for our fourth story. Am I the asshole for telling my best friend if she wasn't always trying to get with my husband, her boyfriend wouldn't have left her? I, 27F, have been best friends with Kira, 27F, since we were little. We were neighbors, went to the same school, college, etc. She was my maid of honor when I married Rowan, 28M, who we went to college with. At first, Kira had a big crush on him, but he started liking me. We slowly got closer, and I started liking him too. This was after Kira had told me she'd gotten over it and was dating another guy. But I still felt really guilty and didn't want to date him if it would hurt Kira. I asked her multiple times if she was okay with it, and she said she was, so I thought it was fine. Kira's been with her latest boyfriend, Adam, 27M, for a year or so. However, over the last few months, she's been acting strange around Rowan. Whenever we'd be hanging out with the three of us, or even with Adam there, she'd always find some way to sit next to Rowan, laugh at everything he said, etc. I didn't think anything of it initially because I knew that's kind of her personality, and her and Rowan are friends. But then she started always asking me if Rowan was there before she came over, and if I said no, she'd often suddenly say she couldn't come, though sometimes she would say that even if I said he was here. Rowan also told me about a comment she made to him once about how he was so patient for putting up with me being too tired to do anything with him now that I was pregnant, which I thought was weird. The odd behavior continued, but TBH, the pregnancy had been keeping me too exhausted to give it a lot more thought, and Rowan seemed as friendly with Kira as always. But 2 days ago, our mutual friend Shay threw a dinner party. Me and Rowan went, as did Kira and Adam. Kira got a bit tipsy, and she kept trying to sit with Rowan and touch him. He excused himself a few times, but she kept finding him. I tried to get her off a few times, and I was getting mad because this was a new line she was crossing. She was slurring about how I stole Rowan from her. Thankfully, Adam was too busy talking to Shay's husband to hear this, but he definitely saw Kira's actions. The next afternoon, I was at Shay's again with some friends when Kira showed up. She was crying about how Adam had broken up with her that day, saying he didn't think they were going to work out. Everyone was consoling her, but I was just kind of sitting there. I couldn't help but feel like she brought this upon herself. She asked me, "Aren't you going to say something?" So I said maybe Adam wouldn't have left you if you weren't trying to get with Rowan all the time. Some of our other friends were shocked to hear this and got mad at Kira. Some got angry with me, saying Kira was just really friendly with everyone, and that was a horrible accusation to make. Kira was upset, saying she couldn't believe I thought that of her, and maybe we really weren't that close. She left in tears, and I left soon after too. Now I don't know. Maybe I was wrong? Kira had been drinking at the dinner party and might not have meant what she said, and the other stuff could have been nothing. Maybe this was too harsh to say to her after a breakup, and we could have talked privately, not in front of our friends. Am I the asshole? Let's hear from the comment section. Comment 1. Not the asshole. Well, not entirely. Yes, it was kind of rude to just say that after she had been dumped, but she had been acting like this for a long time. To the point even Rowan was getting uncomfortable, but she still persisted. Getting drunk didn't help, and I bet Adam did hear her when she said you stole Rowan from her. She's clearly been jealous this whole time from my POV. She has yet to move on and has only tried to get closer. Rowan also brought up that comment she said that made both of you uncomfortable about being too tired to do anything. That's not a normal thing to say to your best friend's husband. Even as a joke, that's messed up. Not the asshole. Comment 2. This. It's a shit situation, cause any actions taken by the husband could appear as the wrong decision. And since it's the wife's friendship at stake, he can't make waves really. Can't cause tension, can't let it go. Dude played it perfect saying, "Hey, she said this," and putting the cards on the table instead of overreacting or anything. Comment 3. OP just needs to dump Kira as a friend because Kira is no longer a friend to OP. Kira has made it abundantly clear through actions and comments that she wants OP's husband, while OP is pregnant. Kira is despicable and should be booted out of OP and husband's life. And OP, being drunk, did not put those ideas in her head. Being drunk just made Kira stupid enough to express them in public. Alcohol actually did you a favor by having Kira express exactly what she is up to, trying to steal your husband during a window, being pregnant. when OP is most vulnerable due to emotional and physical discombobulation of being in advanced pregnancy. This alone is just plain evil on Kira's part. Not the asshole, not even is the same universe of being an asshole, other than asshole Kira being in the same universe. Comment 4. Kira is trying to fuck your husband. She is not your friend at all. You're not the asshole for saying that, but you're the asshole for allowing her to make your husband uncomfortable by sexually harassing him. If one of your female friends told you that another friend's husband was constantly touching her, flirting with her, and making personal comments about her sex life, what would you say? Start standing up for your husband. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see more.